Thank you for watching News Echoes World Affairs. We give you global occurrences, we put some analysis, and then you have an informed opinion so that you can take a quality decision. My name is Shegun Johnson. How about the Speaker of the #1 country in the whole world, talking of power, talking of the United States of America, not being able to elect a speaker, even when the Republican Party has got the majority in the House to discuss this vital issue and others? We have the closest man to Joe Biden, Sir George Chukwu in Toronto, Canada. Sir George, you're welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so very much. Good morning, everybody. Viewers around the world.
You know, you are the closest to Joe Biden in this studio.
Yes, it looks like that.
In the seat of power in Abuja, we have the proprietor of Diplomacy University in Africa, Dr. Osita Anyemeka. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
And of course, we need a feminine spice to our discussion. And in Lagos, we have Bidi Nana. Bidi, you're welcome to the program.
I know you actually asked me to greet the audio, but I can't hear you, honestly. Good morning, Dr. Shebu. Good morning, everyone in the studio. Thanks for having me here. Good morning, our viewers. Let's do it again, once again. I can't hear you.
Are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me, Bidi? Oh, something is wrong. I hope the studio will correct that. We have in Milan, Mark in Milan. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shegun. Good morning, gentlemen. It's good to be with you guys again. The first Friday of the month.
Yeah.
New Year. Thank you.
Yeah, please let the studio correct that of Bidi so that we can hear her voice. Sir George, you know the question comes to you. 3 days, 11 votes, and the United States House of Representatives, having won 10 extra seats, have not been able to elect their speaker. We understand this happened only 600 years ago, or how many years? Sorry, it can't be up to 600 now. But so many years ago, when they couldn't elect their speaker after 44 votes. And this time around, they will not be, they couldn't. They are going to have a go again today, Friday. And I understand that only 20 members of the House of Reps, Republicans, holding McCarthy to account, and that they did not trust him. And so he will not get the required 218 votes to become the next speaker. Sir George, take us through what's going on in the United States.
Well, number one, you have some 20 Republicans that, like the world is watching, that actually refuses, to consent to his leadership in the House as the Speaker of the House. They do not trust him, number one, because they know that one thing that is actually leaking out is that McCarthy is somebody who is all about himself. Not that he has what it takes to go out there and represent them, and therefore they know that he will not be the leader they are looking for. And they are actually insisting that they bring somebody else. And they want to make a point. You remember that the man was the one who stood in the House one time and spoke for almost more than 8 hours in order to delay certain bill that was being passed. So, to him, it's a big deal. So this time, he does not care whether they like him or not. He is insisting on being their leader, the Speaker of the House. Not because he has a lot to offer, but one thing that I am seeing right now is he believes that he's making history, and it's funny to him, as much as it's humiliating that he's not able to get those votes that he needs. So he's forging forward.
What do you think will happen today? It will be the 4th day after they have done it, and no speaker. It's incredible, isn't it?
No, you see, what is happening is this a bunch of folks are like the Tea Party of yesterday. They are dogged. They want to make, a mark that cannot be erased, not because, they want to be known, but they just want to make sure that they are putting down, their foot down and refusing that, this man will just step up and don't become the Speaker of the House. Eventually, it could happen. But listen to this, though. This is a sign of what is going to happen eventually when he finally becomes the Speaker of the House. He is going to have a terrible time. And I can guarantee you that in the next few months, if he becomes the Speaker of the House, they might oust him. Because he's not going to be able to get any bill done, And
this is interesting.
It is very
This is democracy under test, isn't it? Serious democracy on the test.
Listen to this, though. This is a very good lesson to the political system in Nigeria. Because what we are seeing is the ideological differences, even within the same party, is bringing such a thing like this. Think about situations like this happening in our own country. Do you think that a few people will actually hold hostage the political system or the system as it stands? They would have promised them bags of money, and then everybody would just go home and sleep, and they vote him in. So it is important that we understand what politics is all about, because in Nigeria there are no ideological differences between the parties that are vying for to be the leaders of Nigeria. The leadership, that's what it is. So it's really
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I seize this opportunity to welcome Dr. Godwin Ibe from Moscow, Russia. You are welcome, Dr. Ibe.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope I'm audible and no problem.
Yes, you are audible. You are audible, and you are handsome as well. But this next question goes to Dr. Osita and Yemeka. You've been listening to what is going on in the United States, and you are in a vantage position to tell us exactly more. Now, we understand that the American Constitution does not particularly say that the Speaker must come from the House. For that reason, one of them has suggested that Donald Trump be brought in to become the next Speaker of the United States. Dr. Osita, you know more than me. Please tell me more.
Well, let's go back to tradition. Yes, it is not in the Constitution, but they have never elected from outside their ranks. That's the truth. This is the 118th Congress, and like you said at the opening, it is the first time since 1923 at the 68th Congress that this stalemate is happening. And the reason being that, like you said also yourself, the ideology, and Sir George said so too, the ideology that runs the American politics is not found anywhere else. It is just the way they are. As a matter of fact, people might decide to walk, in between the aisle. People might decide to do this and do that. But once you are a party faithful, you strongly believe in the party ideology. You don't hear people running helter-skelter from one party to another. Somebody will just stand up one day and say, this is the way it is. This is the way, what I don't like. I'm considering this. There's a presidential candidate from the country Nigeria who has been to all other parties, all the parties. When he's angry with one, he goes to the other. But what they have done in the United States is to make sure that there is sanity in politics and in execution. If they want to bring in Donald Trump, I think is the American joke of the year, because he is going to, as a matter of fact, begin a standard that was called democracy one way or the other. He's not, he's not trying to hide his own. He's going to do it in a way that everybody begins to think that there is an intention to destroy what America has done in the last 100 years. So what my position is this, very simple. Let them keep trying. Let them keep trying. By the time they get their best, let them expose their best to the world.
Yeah, I think America, whom everyone has known as the example of democracy par excellence, is fast losing it now. Dr. Ibe, the January 6th invasion of the Capitol Hill has shown that America is not to be copied by developing countries, because Joe Biden won clearly, and the law says that if you think he has not won, you should go to the court. Donald Trump went to court 300 times. 300 times he was told that Joe Biden has won. Now, someone is suggesting that Donald Trump should become the next speaker. Of course, I agree with Dr. Sita. It will never happen. It's a joke, even though it has been formally presented before the House. Dr. Ibe, to what extent do you think the January 6th invasion has destroyed democracy and is affecting them as we speak?
Oh, United States it's a great country with great ideas, great technology, and a lot of experience in their version of democracy. So saying that this January 6th is would put them in a wrong light, I actually don't think so. I just think that it brings everyone closer to reality. That anybody's version of system of government cannot be applied globally, and every time it has been tried, it has led to failures all over the world, leads to more wars, leads to more what a lot of people maybe not from the mainstream media would like to refer as neoconservative or globalist push. But the experiment we've seen all the while has been a failure. And but it doesn't take it away from America having a lot of experience, and it's actually a good example in their soft power. I love the soft power of the United States in terms of being without military conflict, even though there's that part. But I mean, the ability to have an advanced soft diplomacy in pulling the strings with soft diplomacy. But this January 6th just brings it out to the forefront that yes, no country is perfect. It's not only the United States, and you have to take into account the cultural context, the historical context, and you have to not take your system of government for granted, because taking it for granted can lead to lots of disappointment, as we have seen in the recent.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Mark in Milan, we're still on U.S. Speaker unelectable, McCarthy unelectable, and I'm just thinking, I've worked in the National Assembly of Nigeria before for a few years, and I know this. If you don't have a speaker, you cannot swear in the new members. So the new members that gave them the majority have not been sworn in. Secondly, you cannot do anything in the House without the House of the Speaker approving of it. So the House of Representatives, that is half of the Congress of the United States, has been made paralyzed now. And there are many issues they want to attend to. So many, I can't count them right now. So to what extent will this now paralyze the whole of United States? What are we looking at, Mark in Milan?
Yes, Doc. We're looking at a very dire situation. What's supposed to be a moment of triumph for the Republican has come into a kind of chaos and confusion. Now, why is there no speaker is the question. Why is there this situation? The House needs 218 votes has to come in the House. McCarthy received 203 in the first two votes, less than the Democrat Democrat leader Hakeem. Remember Hakeem Jeffries?
Yes.
McCarthy dropped to 202 in round 3. You know, it's a round thing. They keep coming all through the round. So by the 6th round, he had just 201, and like we said, he needs 218. So that's the situation there. But we are hoping to see some changes soon. We don't know how it's going to be, but something might come up. Kevin McCarthy has been leading the Republican House since 2019. But
you think Pelosi will be laughing somewhere? Say, look at these people. Pelosi, the last people will be laughing somewhere.
Yes, Doc. She's laughing somewhere because it's really looking funny, really. Looking funny. Before
we leave this topic, Sir George, you made mention of the the things to come, even whoever becomes this next speaker. And I love the way Mark in Milan gave us the votes as they are dropping. I love such statistics. And so you was telling us that this is the kind of thing that will happen maybe in the next 4 years. Eventually, they will get a speaker. We don't know who it will be, maybe McCarthy eventually. But then these 20 people will be able to hold the United States to ransom.
Exactly, because number one, think about this. There is something, they keep on clamoring that, oh, we need to investigate. You see, they want to actually go back and investigate, Biden's son. That is one major thing because of what is happening, today, the investigation about Donald Trump and January 6th and the people that are being held accountable. So one of the things that they want to do is to actually investigate, Hunter Biden and his dealings in China, in Ukraine, and all those things. That's one. Number two, these people are saying we don't want an increase in the debt ceiling. So that's another thing that they're looking for very, very seriously. So what's going to happen is if Kevin McCarthy is not able to convince these people and give them what they want, and if eventually they muscle him in, this is exactly what you're going to see all through the series. And it is very likely that the one step he takes that they don't like, they will try to get him out. That is something that is going to happen. And they will hold the nation hostage. And these people are so dogged in what they believe that they don't even care about approving salaries and all those type of things, in the House, because that's one area where they can hold them hostage for another. And if they're not able to do that, it's going to be, hellfire in the United States when it comes to...
and we are all watching. I can assure you, our viewers, next week, Friday, will be updating you who has become speaker. 12 noon Friday of United States, they will be meeting again to try electing one. I'm glad we have our sister back, Bidi. Bidi, your country, Nigeria, has... I can hear you loud and clear now. Your country, Nigeria, has decided to give Burundi oil at a very discounted, and oil subsidy has been an issue in Nigeria. They should have removed it. The Buhari regime in 2014, the Buhari party said subsidy is a scam, but he got there, he couldn't remove subsidy. It's even growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Now they want to give Burundi. Is there anything wrong for big brother Nigeria to give Burundi oil at a subsidized rate? Is anything wrong?
What would do you have me say? Everything is wrong. When a state like Nigeria, the president of a state could say that he feels the pain of Burundi for not having energy. And in his own country, this is January, for the past 4 months, there has been queue in a country like Nigeria. That's one of the resource thing that God has blessed us with is oil. Since October 2022, there's been scarcity of fuel in this country, and there has been increments of fuel. The last time it was approved that fuel sell on 165, but I tell you, as far back as November 2022, people bought fuel in Nigeria for 250. Some people bought 300 even this month. And if a president to say that he feels the pain of Burundi, well, this goes to show that these people don't even know what ordinary Nigerian feels. I don't blame them, because most of all these fuel, they don't go to the police station to queue. They don't know what an ordinary Nigerian face on a daily basis. That is why he could come and say he wants to be a brother to a fellow brother. He wants to, extend the hands of love to a Burundi, when the people in his own country, he has not extended the hands of love to them. The people that the God has blessed with that natural resources. It's all hypocritical, if you ask me. Because
Okay.
your house cannot be burning, and you want to go and put off someone else's house that is burning.
I'm sure this is going to generate a lot of discussion throughout 2023. We know that Dangote is coming with his oil refinery, and it's going to be in operation in 2023. Buhari is going to open it with fanfare, and so it's going to be, we hope Nigeria will be enjoying very soon. Dr. Osita.
You know another problem we have in Nigeria? Now, when issues like this comes up, you face the Minister of Petroleum. Who is our Minister of Petroleum?
Our president.
So how do we even solve this problem? For over 4 months, there's been a scarcity of fuel in this country. People cannot fuel their cars. Businesses are collapsing because about 75% of business or 80% of business in Nigeria are energy based.
And Ambidi, the Minister of Petroleum cannot be talked to because it's Buhari, and nobody
Exactly.
Negatively. Nobody. So that is the issue.
As a president, you hardly talk to him, and let alone as a Minister of Petroleum. So it becomes a very big problem to us, and they want to extend helping hands to Burundi. Well, let's see how it goes.
Okay, Dr. Sita. A country helping another country helps to leverage over that country, especially at international organizations like the African Union and United Nations. So if we are giving oil to Burundi at a discounted rate, we'll be able to be in a position to ask them to vote for us at the UN, at the AU. Is that the reason why Nigeria is giving out free fuel to Burundi?
Well, they have not given them yet, but they can. They can. I'll explain this.
Okay.
There is nothing stopping the government in power from supplying petroleum to Burundi. Nothing. And I'll give you examples because I've been part of it. The co-university of Maiduguri?
Yeah.
That university has 24-hour power supply. You know why? The only university in the country. The chancellor of the university got into Maiduguri after appointment and found that Maiduguri city does not have power. But the first city in Niger Republic has power supplied by Nigeria 24/7. So
wow.
he raised money and drew a grid all the way from our neighbors to get power into his university. And for years, they never suffered power failure. Meanwhile, the country from which the power goes to, the neighbors, does not have power. This is government policy and government action that keeps destroying the country. They don't say anything wrong with that. We took a full capacity vessel and parked it by the shores of South Africa for 11 years during apartheid. We parked it, we serviced the military there because we were trying to become frontline state to South Africa. This is what Nigeria has done very well. We always see ourselves looking for, like you said now, looking for good name, publicity outside the country, before we look at what concerns us as a nation. So whether they vote for us in the UN, whether we become prime people before that in the AU, does not matter to Nigeria. What they are looking for is just that pride of privilege of being the super big brother that is providing everything for Africa. Meanwhile, we are starving internally. It has happened. It has happened. And like everybody is saying here now, if the man at the center rises up to do it, you can't stop him. You can't stop him. Even if he does it for just 1 month, you can't stop him.
Okay, for the sake of undergraduates watching us, perhaps postgraduate students as well, the Nigerian supply of electricity to Niger 24/7 was based on the contract they had with those who dammed the Niger River. And
Yeah.
so for the Niger Republic not to dam the river before Nigeria, they had to sign that contract that they would supply them with electricity 24/7. Otherwise, the Niger Republic is in a position to dam the same river Niger that started from Timbuktu, and that will make a problem for Nigeria. And that's why, just for the sake of our university students, so that they may know. Now, let's go quickly to Dr. Godwin Ibe. Dr. Ibe, Putin has a face to his war, doesn't he? He said there should be no war during the Orthodox Christian New Year. Tell us more, Dr. Ibe. That's a good one, isn't it?
Well, in a war, there are no kind faces, but you have to take advantage of every opportunity to save lives. Be hypocritical for me to speak about kind faces, because a war is a war. But we should understand.
What was a kind gesture as far as a civilian like me concerned?
A kind gesture, but I don't want to blow it out of proportion. Both Ukraine.
Is it because they're going back to war after it?
The Ukraine hasn't even agreed to the ceasefire, if that's what you're speaking about. So, first of all, we have to understand that it was first of all suggested by the Patriarch of Moscow, Orthodox Patriarch Kirill, who suggested it to Putin, and Putin agreed and announced. And I also heard there was a call between Erdogan. Erdogan also suggested to Russia. He's a powerful figure in Russia. His opinions matter. So I believe that whatever it's for now, it's a one-sided offer of a ceasefire, which Ukraine has rejected. Not that they're considering; they've outrightly rejected it for plausible reasons. They say it's an opportunity to regroup, an opportunity to attack. These are all plausible reasons. But any opportunity to save lives, especially in this Russia-NATO conflict staged in Ukraine, is a very, very great opportunity. We also have to understand that.
Dr. Ibe, let me ask you one question. You always refer to Russia, Ukraine, NATO stage. Why do you go that way? You've seen it as a NATO war, isn't it?
How else do you say it? In NATO
I see. Okay, thank you. That's a good question. How do I see it? I see it as a brother fighting brother. That's why I see it.
Yeah, but you cannot say brother fighting brother without you focus on the stage. Why you don't look at all at the control room and who pulls the strings from the control room? Before you talk about in any conflict, there has to be logistics, there has to be weapons, and there has to be manpower. Many of the equipment, for example, as I've heard from military experts, even from the West, who say equipment, for example, like Patriot missile system, cannot be operated by locals because you need so many months of training. And of course, we see the mercenaries, volunteers on both sides who are helping. And then we see the behind deals, for example, that are done. For example, increase in trade that occur between the friends of either sides, which are helping to fuel the conflict. So both in terms of manpower, in terms of weapons supply, in terms of logistics, we can see that it's not just two parties that are fighting. The only thing is that, sorry, let me just finish. Like the US has said, Russia hasn't invested a lot in this war in terms of their military strength. And NATO also has not invested their first line military. Ukraine soldiers are being used, and maybe other volunteers or maybe ex-military. So we can see that it's a bloody game of chess where both parties haven't really put in their best, but lives are being lost, and especially civilian lives.
Yeah, I wanted to ask George, to what extent will you say Putin has put a human face to this war? And like Dr. Ibe said, do you think it's been one-sided? Because I just want this war to end. That's me. But who am I? Sir George.
Well, everybody wants the war to end because nobody wants innocent lives being lost unnecessarily. I believe that whether Putin is putting a smiling face or what you call an Orthodox Christian heart towards the war or not, a lot of people do not believe that, because what Putin wants is what he wants, whether Russia wants it or not. This is our understanding. that he's a soul man that is desiring something, which if you really look deep into the whole entire structure of why is this war, you will understand the reason why it would be necessary for him to fight to not to allow Ukraine to become, which is next door to him, to bring NATO into the country, because America did it so many years ago. Personally, when the president of the United States, Biden, was asked, what he thought, he said that he believes that Putin just needs a little oxygen to regroup himself. The point is that Ukraine has become a formidable force to be reckoned with, because Putin entered the war thinking that it would just be a landslide victory.
A run over.
Yeah, that, before you know it, he will take over. But he's realizing that the forces that be and the forces that are behind Ukraine is becoming even tougher and tougher. And like what you guys are saying, the best of the war have not been offered yet.
But that is scary. When Dr. Ibe said so, it was scary. So the best is not yet here.
No, the best is not yet. And America is watching carefully what they offer to Ukraine, because there is a type of weapon that you will send to Ukraine. Yeah, Putin might decide to say, okay, let's end it all, because I am not going to be shamed by anybody, So, and he believes in what he's doing. But when you bring the whole equation on a level ground plane, there's a reason why he's fighting. And I honestly believe that, as the president of Russia, he has a legitimate reason not to allow, NATO to come into Ukraine and then be listening to them, because he's a KGB member and he's trying to protect his people according to their own political ideology and diplomatic ideology.
We hope Zelensky will be able to balance these things out. I pray Zelensky will balance this out. We're going on a short break. When we return, we'll be singing the song of Bob Marley, No Woman, No Cry, No Meghan, No Fight among royal brothers. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This world, changing your mindset.
Thanks for staying with us. We are still on, and this is News Echoes World Affairs, where we bring you news and analysis so that you can have an informed opinion. It is Bob Marley, or it was Bob Marley, who sang No Woman, No Cry. Harry and William have always been loving brothers until they got married. Williams to Kate and Harry to Meghan. And since Meghan and Harry quit the working royals, that is, they no longer work for the royal family, visiting charities, raising funds for poor and underprivileged. There have been a lot of news, and the story is coming out from Harry that even Williams struck him one day while they were having a discussion. Biddy, I know this is not fair, but you are the only lady amongst us. Why do we have problem when a woman enters the family? Forget about whether it's royal or not. But that's the kind of problem they're having in the royal family in the United Kingdom. Tell us.
It's so unfortunate that everyone is pointing at Meghan. But the problem is this, that we are not actually ready to say the truth or look at this issue critically the way it is. Even before Meghan came into royal family, what was Harry's relationship with his family? If you remember, Harry went into Britain army for years. All of us knows Harry's disposition, his personality, before Meghan came into his life. Now, accusing Meghan of disunity among brothers is would be being unfair to Meghan. Meghan is not actually the problem in that royal family. If you may ask me, I might even put it to late Queen, who has refused to do what he's supposed to do as a mother, as a grandmother. Yes, because if you look at what is happening in the royal family, the family is very much important to them, regardless of how anybody feels. If you have to be sad for them to maintain the status quo of the royal family, that's okay with them. And that's what I think Harry, as a person, have refused to accept. You remember, he just launched his book, Respect. It did not start today. Harry, in one of those books chapters, he told a story how when he was born, Meghan was not there when that story was told to Harry. But the father even made a statement when he was born. He was thanking his mother, late Diana. You have given me a hair and a spare. So pushing this to Meghan honestly would be very, very unfair. Meghan is not the problem between Harry and his brother William. It's not.
Okay, I received that, like many Nigerians, they love Meghan, and many Americans love Meghan and Harry. Sir George, Americans are falling.
Well, I mean, look at it from this standpoint. I know they're trying to say that Meghan came to disrupt what you call the blue bloodline, because UK started with like the royals and the commoners. And that's something that has been passed down. If you're going to be the next king, they will teach you all these things all the way back from history and try to show you the difference between who you are as a royal blood and then the commoners that you're supposed to be over. But you have to understand that the influence that William had, the Duke of Sussex didn't, refused to have it, because to him, what do I have to lose? I can mingle with the commoners, the so-called commoners, and understand that they are people just like me. So if I'm not going to be the king tomorrow, why do you want to force me to adhere to that? I will live my life the way that I like it. Now, I found me a woman who has a black bloodline, but the royal are saying to me that I cannot marry my love. Why is that? What do I have to lose? Am I going to be the king tomorrow? My brother is going to be the king tomorrow. Allow me to enjoy myself.
I love that.
So the point of this whole entire thing is really exposure of the hypocrisy from the royal family.
Let me flex my muscle a little bit. Come on, Mark in Milan. Nigerians love Meghan. Meghan is 43% DNA Nigerian. The boys are rushing. The girls are rushing to love Meghan more. And America loves Meghan, but we can't afford a brawl in the royal family. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you, Mark.
Yes, I can see that. Sibling rivalry has been a thing that happens in all families. Brothers not too going well, good relationship with fellow brother, and sibling rivalry has been happening for years now. But in this case, it's a different thing. There's a stream of sensational claims, accusations from Prince Harry's highly anticipated autobiography, The Spare. It's called The Spare. Some leaks, we were able to scroll through some leaks in the past days, some very interesting things are there. At a point, he said Prince William, his senior brother, knocked him to the floor. They had a brawl, they had a fight, you know. And he said it was because William sees Meghan as rude, abrasive, and difficult. That was what William said. So there are so many startling revelation in the book. In one of the places also, it talks about him meeting up a woman that has some psychic powers, and the woman was saying to him, yes, what he's doing is good. Yes, this is what the mother wants from him and all that, you know. And also him using cocaine at age 17. He said he smoked cocaine, he smoked cannabis while in school. Then also there's this claim also in the book that says he killed 25 Talibans in the Afghanistan war. And he also said there was at a point, William, during the wedding to Meghan, William suggested use a village chapel instead of using the well-known, you know those places, Dr. Shepherd.
Yes, St. Paul's and all those cathedrals.
Royal Westminster and St. Paul. So, the senior brother told him, please just use one local cathedral, one village cathedral by the line. So there are so many startling revelation in the book Spare, and a lot of people are also giving reviews, even though it has not been officially opened to readers, but we've all seen so many of it. I have some pages of it here.
Definitely, you have. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Osita, where will all this end? When King William's become enthroned one day, King William's enthronement will be worthless or worth little, isn't it?
Yes and no. Monarchy doesn't have to be modern. Monarchy is monarchy. I come from one, so I understand it very well. But the truth is that the Queen died late. Her son started late. These children are more like tomorrow. They cannot be like their parents. The only reason why we are discussing these issues is that they are royalty. Everything they have done is normal. Two brothers, when they quarrel, now it happens everywhere. But the issue is that there was and there still is the need for a brother to respect a brother's wife, no matter where the woman is coming from. That is something we know brothers for. We can do whatever we like to do, do whatever. But once it is not possible for one brother to respect the other spouse, this thing will continue. And believe me, in the next 20, 50 years, the British monarchy will not be what it is now. By the time the king, the king passes on now, and these two boys come on, you will see an entirely different monarchy. And that will be the monarchy that their generation will understand. Everything we're discussing now will be a thing of the past. You know, just imagine Meghan's children after all this. Imagine those young people who are part Nigerians, part Africa, part America, being royalty in Britain. It's a different story. Yeah. Because everything you're seeing now, all the regimented lifestyle now will go. The republicanism of governance will come. And then
do you see the Buckingham Palace being packed with Nigerians and Ghanaians because Meghan's son is having a bad bash?
Yes. The White House is being deluged by Nigerians because of Kamala Harris. It's going to happen. Because we are there. We are Nigerians. That's what we do. We change the world.
Dr. Hebe in Moscow, Rishi Sunak of the United Kingdom has decided to make mathematics compulsory for the ages of 17 and 18. Here in the United Kingdom, it's compulsory to the 16th-year-old person. But here we have Rishi Sunak coming from the Indian descent, and he wants to make mathematics compulsory to the age of 18. Normally, the average Englishman doesn't want to study a lot. Most of the universities here are filled with foreigners. They make a lot of money from that. Different school fees, tuition fees, and so coming now and says, I want to make maths compulsory up to the age of 18 is unheard of. What do you think is thinking for now?
You know, I've come across some publications that say the level of education in the West, maybe in UK and US, at secondary school level is kind of declining. I don't know how true it is.
Well,
Please don't take my word.
statistically, they use statistics.
Don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think I recollect some articles like that. But you do your search and confirm. But if this is true, then of course they say they need to react and to put in the necessary policies that will encourage development.
Not mathematics to the age of 18. That's the point.
Yes, mathematics in the basic is a basic science. You need it for almost anything. I mean, and also London is a financial center. What do you think about when you talk about financial center? It's mathematics, calculations, statistics, graphs.
Not up to 18. That's what the point is.
Yeah, the point is that it's required. If London is a financial center, then it means that most of the students should understand maths, should be able to look at should be able to look at dynamics and understand what is going on, can be able to see the picture, both the smaller picture and the macro picture. I think it's very, very important, and I think maybe it's a if it's true, like I said, that there's decline in basic science, natural sciences.
Well, I can say that here in Europe, they do watch one another. They do those tests to see how far they are doing in education, and they are comparative. Do they know maths in United Kingdom and compare with France, Italy, Spain, and the rest? So they do that one, and we look at the table from time to time. But Sir George, is this a legacy matter? Is Sunak trying to show his legacy concerning education? Is that what it is?
Well, we know that Indians are very good when it comes to fields of mathematics, accounting. Even in Canada here, most of them, when they go to school, many of them, the greater population of them that come here, they're into science and mathematics and accounting and all those type of things. But if you look at the whole entire thing, this is a man who is coming in. He's not coming in to maintain the status quo. He is discovering also that the lack of math skills has been estimated to cost UK more than 20 billion pounds. So now all of a sudden you're looking at it, the future of UK, it would be people, foreigners who are coming in, or when you want to brain drain, you're importing people with mathematics. Nigerians are coming there, they're very good in math. A lot of us also, foreigners are taking over. So what he's doing is he's discovering a weak link within the society, and he wants to correct it.
God.
That's exactly what is really going on.
Okay, let me ask Bidi. We are going to have a new president elected, hopefully by February 25th. And how will you feel in Lagos if maths is made compulsory to the age of 18? I think maths is made compulsory to the age of 16. That is for GCSE if you want to study especially science subjects at the university. Bidi, how do you think Nigeria will react?
Certainly, Nigeria will react negatively. But first, we need to understand the importance of maths. The thing is that many students don't like maths. But maths is very, very necessary and important for us. It's one subject that will help in building our mental discipline. It will help in encouraging logical reasoning and mental rigor. We need it. And we are thinking in a UK. If you remember, there's this publication of decline in English. And I think the man feels that if we are losing it this way, we could be able to get it this way. Now, it comes to Nigeria. If Nigeria can make it compulsory, a lot of people will not like it, mostly students. But if it's well enforced on Nigeria, I'm telling you,
yes, Bidi, what is happening in the United Kingdom at the moment is that people are striking the NHS, that is our health service here. They are on strike. The road The transport workers, they are on strike. The ambulance, they are on strike. The doctors are about to go on strike. The teachers have just finished their strike. And somebody is now talking mathematics. Shouldn't it be facing the challenges of our time?
Yeah, it will feel like a misplaced priority. Yes, it feels like misplaced priority. But I think the man is looking in the future by doing that. That's what I feel. I think he's looking in the future.
Okay.
Considering what is happening today in United Kingdom, if we could bridge it in the near future, they might not be experiencing what they're experiencing here today. So if it comes to Nigeria, me personally, I will appreciate it because I know in the near future it's
Who is afraid of mathematics? Me, I'm not afraid of mathematics. So, who is afraid of mathematics? Bring it on.
Many students, me, I was really afraid of. Me, I was afraid of mathematics when I was in school, and many students are afraid of it. I know that one.
Bring it on. Come on, Dr. Ibe, bring it on. Who is afraid of mathematics?
Unfortunately, so many people, and there's a gender bias in statistics. So mostly females are not interested in maths.
That's why when you see female statistics students or economists, you were like the way you look at them, like
gender bias, and that affects our economic capacity because where women are 50% our economic.
Who is afraid of mathematics? You know, bring it on. Even to university, I'm ready. Okay, I'm not that ready. Let's go. Mark in Milan, the Burkina Faso government have just expelled the French ambassador. That is a very real one because the French don't forgive their own expelling them. Let me give this one quickly. In 1961, actually, in March, the Nigerian government, Balewa regime, expelled the French ambassador from Nigeria. For that reason, the French never forgave Nigeria. And during the Civil War, the French supported Biafra. Now, these people, they have expelled they have expelled the French ambassador. Guinea tried it in 1958. They said they were not going to do with the Francophone. Guinea became the poorest of the Francophone countries. And Burkina Faso, one of the poorest in the world, can it afford this one, Mark?
We don't know, but anyway, it's the French ambassador issue is not still in place yet. France said that they backed the man to stay put, despite the pressure from the Burkina babe to bring him back. So Burkina.
France is more important than the Burkina government.
Yes, France has a strong hold on Burkina Faso. The Burkina Faso military junta, the young man, has said it clear. He's said it out loud, and on Monday, January the 2nd. Take note also, there is a strong anti-French sentiment going around in most part of these West African countries, and Burkina is also showing that. So amid that, this thing is coming up, and the military leader said the man must go. So we're still waiting because France is saying no, let the man remain, and we don't know. We hope he doesn't turn into something else. And there you have it.
Thank you, Mark. Dr. Sita, you are in diplomacy. What are the implications for Burkina Faso?
Okay, it's still an intent. It's a request until it pans out fully, and the protocols are all withdrawn and observed. Then it will happen. But my point is that I am also looking at tomorrow. You see, Mali is in that position. Burkina Faso, the Francophone countries are beginning to stand on their feet.
How can they stand on their feet when they're still using the CFA franc?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be this Christmas. It's going to be sometime in the future, but they start from somewhere.
Okay.
Because if they don't hold on to this now, contractors from France they were leaving France because of a little squabble about authority. You know what they did? They destroyed every equipment they could not carry back to France.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
total closure
I saw that
mentality.
video. I saw the clip.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. They destroyed it. As a matter of fact, they burnt some houses. The
Bump some
issue
vehicles
is,
as well. Destroy vehicles.
yes, openly.
Mm.
Because of superiority complex. But the issue now is that we are going beyond that now. Africans are beginning to say we have talked about colonialization for too long. Let's begin to look for ourselves to run away from charity and do it, by us. The only problem we have is the
Yeah,
comfort of the African leaders, the comfortable place they stay when they are still puppets to these people, because they are the people, they are the class that is destroying Africa
yeah.
because
Thank
of
you.
what they do. For
Yeah,
some of them, like Paul Biya, that went to the U.S. Africa program.
yeah.
In his sleep, he left Cameroon and was still sleeping when he came back and was asking them what
Where
happened
are
in the
we?
last couple of hours. Yeah, where are we? He was
Sir
still
George.
sleeping, and now in following him, it's just
Mm.
like what is happening in Burkina Faso. In following him, his people are saying that please, you should come back for election in
Sir George, the
2025.
problem why these francophones could not afford to send away the French is mainly because of their poor economic status.
Exactly, but it will change. It will
Yeah,
change,
but they
Dr. Johnson.
depend today, they
It will
depend on the
change.
French to pay the salaries of the workers, talk less of the infrastructures. Who is going to replace them? Nigeria, Britain? I mean, they cannot afford it. That's the issue.
Yeah, you are strong about that, but it will come to pass. You will see it. It
Okay.
will happen.
Sir George, do
It
you
will
agree
happen.
with him?
Well, I mean, yes, of course I do, because of, they created a psycho-dependency type of a program where they structured this country to depend on them. Like what is happening in Nigeria today. Why was it that the least educated people in Nigeria are the ones that Britain are actually, favoring to rule Nigeria? Because these are the people you give them tea and they say, yeah, wow, whatever you say, and that's exactly what is happening. And, when Dr. Sita is talking about, the mentality of our leaders, whenever you rise up tomorrow and want to bring a new structure into African countries, like what the leader of Libya was doing, what did they do? The slightest opportunity they have, they eliminated that individual because they want to maintain that superiority over African countries. They want us
Yeah,
to depend on them in
that's correct.
everything that we do. But the time is coming when we are, as a matter of fact, America might want an individual that we are all looking as, the little messiah of Nigeria to rule. But I can guarantee you, behind the scenes, Britain will not want that to happen.
Okay. Dr. Ebe, you agree with Sir George and Dr. Sita? Because I don't agree with them.
I want to actually expand on what they've said, but I'll try to do it very quickly. Number one, expulsion is a done deal because the personal non grata has been issued. Any further stay of the ambassador is already illegal because it has been passed officially. So it's not like it's a request. Personal non grata, you have to leave. Staying there further is illegal. That's number one. Number two, the broader picture where it highlights the hypocrisy of our attention. While we are focusing on Ukraine, this is just an example of the many conflicts that occur in Syria. There's still a war in Syria. In African countries, you still have Russia against either Francophone or maybe Western interest or maybe even UN sometimes in being involved. Number three, talks about not only authority, which Dr. Osita has talked about, but weapon supplies being connected to human rights, obeying some kind of arbitrary human rights conditions, and the Francophone Anglo-Saxon competition occurring.
I'm just mindful of the time. Definitely, Newa will bring this in the near future. BD, are you still there with us? Pope Benedict XVI has gone home. We give you the last statement of the day. Is BD still with us? To just say the last statement, Pope Benedict XVI was seen off by Pope Francis at the funeral, something big in the Catholic world. What will you say as we close?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hello, I can hear you now. I can hear you very well.
Yes, you are looking at the picture of the funeral rites of Pope
Yeah.
Benedict XVI. What would you want to say to the Catholics?
Yeah, what I would want to say to them is he lived a life worthy of emulation, not just the Catholics, I think to the world and to everyone who is a Christian. He lived a life worthy of emulation. His death should teach us one thing: humanity, love.
Yeah.
I think if it's the only thing we could learn in this death, and to remember that nobody lives forever in this life. Looking at him
Absolutely.
and
And
how he has,
nobody is indispensable. This man resigned the greatest job on earth. Pope, he resigned. He didn't die. And they said, stay. He said, no, I
yes,
cannot. I am
exactly,
tired. I have to resign.
exactly. If
Well,
there's
that's how
any,
far we can go today, Sister Bidi, my friends in Toronto, Sir George, Mark in Milan, Dr. Ibe in Russia, and Dr. Osita in the seat of power in Abuja. Is how far we can go today. I'm very grateful to you all. Until Wednesday, when we bring news about Nigeria. This is Schengen Story Media, News Echoes World Affairs, saying God bless you all.